thankfully, the Sixers have another player on a minimum contract who, in my eyes, should have been re-signed last night. I would have went into the office and said, Kelly, we want you back for 3 years because he's just phenomenal, man. 17 points in the fourth quarter. I didn't even know that when I was there until this morning, but holy crap. Like, Kelly Oubre is a winner.
Yeah.
He's a winner, man. Like, he made winning plays. Just like I said about Embiid, Kelly impacted that game, man. He's just phenomenal, man. And I'm just happy that he's on this team. I really am. And I think he should be the third option.
Yeah, 4 of 7 from 3 yesterday. Defensively, he's jumped off the page to me all year that he's been far more committed on that end of the floor than I expected coming in. And there's a play that I tweeted out that really stood out to me last night from Kelly of him going through a pick and roll with Embiid and then hitting Embiid almost like Harden used to do on a little just backwards pass layoff. And it's like, if that's clicking in Kelly's head right now as a playmaker, like this dude is locked in and ready to be a core part of this team. And he's outperformed his contract by a major margin all year. That's no surprise. I'm with you, RB, that I'm bought in and ready to make this guy a long part of the team. I mean, I have a pretty high tolerance for guys like Kelly that they're just going to compete their ass off all game, and that's what he's been on a night-to-night basis, that I'll take a couple of the poor shots or bad heat check shot decisions that you're going to have to live with. But his competitive nature, the way that he brings it every single night, I love on this team. And the athleticism is the real deal. I'm all about Kelly Oubre and 100% with you that I want him on a part of this franchise.
And you know what it is we saw Kelly at the beginning of the year. Remember what his role was, right? Just kind of like trying to find his feet in this team. And the recognition for him to come out with Embiid out and say, you know what, even though I'm not the guy that should be stepping up, let me go put up 25 to 30 a night. Like, I have so much respect for a guy that's willing to put his body on the line like that, who's not even extended long-term. Like, he's playing for a contract, and maybe that kind of feeds into it, but like just the competitive nature to recognize that and say, I'm going to be the guy. Like, he's just awesome, man. And I hope they keep him around long-term.
I also think it's easier to deal with some of the things that Kelly does because we've seen a couple players over the course of the last 5 or so years now that lack confidence.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's just been this, we need to get his confidence up. We need this. And I'm me watching basketball my whole life. I'm not used to those kind of conversations with NBA players in the first place. So you see a guy like Kelly Oubre, and when he chucks a 35-foot heat check, you're like, I like that. I appreciate that you are that confident that you are like, I'm shooting this shot. And, you know, yeah, sometimes he attacks a triple team and doesn't look around at all, but it's just, yeah, it's like you feel like he earned it because of the way that he plays the game. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I completely agree with that.
And I also think that, like, speaking in the long term, like looking forward to this team, it would not surprise me whatsoever if now we start to see Tobias's minutes get cut into a little bit. That's like during the shorthanded stretch where Tobias was really playing his worst that I would say ever in a Sixers uniform. They didn't really have like the ability to bench him because of how shorthanded they already were. Now that like the roster is fully complete and hopefully there's that even grows with guys like Covington and Melton, hopefully getting back on the floor. I think now is when we can start to see Nick Nurse start to make those tough decisions. And really, if we're just looking at this with objective eyes and no dollar signs attached to it, Tobias Harris should not be in the closing lineups in a lot of nights. And I would love to see that be the actuality. And because of a guy like Kelly Oubre outplaying his expectations and showing capable of doing that, that opens the door for that to be possible.
That's what it's going to take for this team to have playoff success. And if, you know, nobody else will say it, we have to. Like, Kelly Oubre has earned that role. And like, he's so likable. Like, it's really not that hard to be liked by Philly, but I saw one of the quotes he made last night and they were saying, how did you feel when they announced Embiid was back? And he said, I felt really bad. Like, my heart sunk, but for the other team, because I knew they were about to get destroyed. Like, those are the things that win this city over. And when he goes out there and he had a steal and a slam in the fourth quarter last night, and he's flexing up to the second level. It's like, dude, like, Philly loves you, man. Just keep putting it all out on the floor. And I mean, obviously to put up 17 in the fourth quarter is ridiculous, but I think guys in that locker room are starting to look at guys like Kelly like, yo, we're dependent on you. We're depending on you to do this, man. Like, he has earned that. And I agree. There are a lot of players I would take over Tobias in the closing lineup.
Yeah. A city like Philly just really, really respects underdogs and guys with a chip on their shoulder and you know, the hungry dogs run faster mantra of Jason Kelce. and Kelly Oubre is that guy. And again, for years we went through the tank and we got some guys that are overpaid, overhyped, treated like celebrities their whole life, walked in here on with a silver spoon, and Philly's like, bro, you're stinking it up. And then you get booed and you make comments after a game about the fans booing you. And it's just, there's never, Kelly Oubre made comments about when they got booed a couple of weeks ago. And he was like, dude, they were about to boo us out of the building if we didn't pick it up. I'm like, exactly. He understands why they were getting booed. It's not that hard to grasp. And guys like, Bryce Harper and Jalen Hurts have had the same kind of quotes about the team being booed. Like, we were playing like shit and they started booing us. There's no, he's just one of those guys that gets it. He gets what Philly wants. Just compete, play hard. And yeah, if you guys are trash, we're going to boo you, but don't fight back. Just accept it. Look in the mirror.
Yeah. And another guy that I think clearly gets it and has exceeded my expectations in a major margin is Kyle Lowry. That Lowry's another guy who feels built for this team, feels built for this city. He's obviously a Philadelphia kid that has been around and one of the more successful NBA careers, ring on his finger, all the All-Stars, everything you want to say. He's still got way more left in the tank than I expected at this point. That charge he took last night was huge as far as opening the door for a win for the Sixers team, leading these Sixers in charges on the year, which is wild considering he's played less than 20 games in a Sixers uniform. But I'm all in on Lowry, and some of this I know had to do with Tyrese Maxey not being there yesterday, but I thought it was interesting Nick Nurse pairing all the minutes with Kyle Lowry and Joel Embiid, that every moment Joel Embiid was on the floor last night, so was Kyle Lowry. So I think we're working ourselves into this guy being like the point guard of this team, and I think that has some really exciting potential.
Oh, absolutely. And while we're giving flowers, one guy, I will say it, I was wrong. Cameron Payne is a bucket. This guy is a baller. And you know who led the Sixers in rebounds last night? Cameron Payne. He had 10 rebounds. This guy's 6'2". Realistically, he's listed at, I think, 6'3". This guy wants to win, man. He's another guy that gets it. And I think there's a lot of interesting dynamics, whether it's Buddy and Joel, Kyle and Joel, Maxey and Joel. Like, there's a lot of different combinations. Even you said Kelly and Joel. Like, the Sixers are about to get crafty. And I just think Nick Nurse, realistically, has not revealed all his tricks yet. I think there's a lot he's saving. And when we get to a playoff series, for once, Sixer fans are going to see we have a coach that can give us an advantage, not pull us back in a series. And what coach other than maybe Spoelstra are you taking over Nick Nurse in the East right now? Like, I think Nurse is about to coach laps around these guys. And that's really why I have been saying the Sixers are going to be a dark horse, because Nurse never has gone down easy in a playoff series. We're going to see things that we have not seen yet. And I'm excited, man.
No, I believe it too. And you saw a little bit of it when we played Miami. They were undermanned, we were undermanned, and you could see the back and forth chess match of their counters and their moves. And we've never seen anything like that in this era of Sixers basketball, of a coach countering another coach's counter and them just having a chess match on the floor. And he outcoached Eric Spoelstra in that game. So